Hello guys, welcome back to my channel and to another freaking video. This is going to be another semaglutide video, so if this is not your thing, go ahead and click out of it. I feel like a lot of people watching this are just stumbling across this video unintentionally, just looking up stuff about semaglutide. I did a video like 2.5, maybe 3 months ago. It was my 5-month update on semaglutide, kind of introducing it to my YouTube channel, and I just haven't spoke about it since. I do TikTok videos about it like multiple times a week, so I am still talking about it if you want to keep up with like my more active journey. But I thought I would come on and do a little bit more of a update video. I've been on semaglutide for 8 months now, which is crazy. I still have so much love for the medication. I am using MinuteMD as my provider. I will have them linked down below if you're looking for like an affordable telemed type service. I know from all of my past experience, other doctors I've worked with, that this is my favorite thus far. I am not required to talk about them on YouTube at all. Like, this is truly how I feel about it. I would not mention them if I didn't feel this way, because I don't have to talk about them on YouTube. But it is like $249 a month for semaglutide, which is hands down the most affordable place I've found semaglutide. And then on top of that, they do a free blood test, which in my opinion is very important. My old doctors did not require that, and I'm like, how did they not require that? I love that this place covers your blood test. Also, they make it super easy, and then you just know like the medicine is doing good things in your body, not causing it harm. So I really like that about them. $249, all telemed, like amazing. So I will have them linked down below. I'm so bad at dosages. This is the one part about semaglutide that I like can't wrap my head around. I just got off the phone with a family friend who's on it in Washington, and she's talking to me about like her dose and things like that, and it's just so different than my dose here. Like I have a cousin in Florida who also is on like a way different type of dose in medicine, and the dosages just, I don't understand them. But I have the 5 milligram bottle, I want to say, and so the max dose I can take on that is 0.5. I am on 0.4, so I am close to the max dose. I could probably be on it. I'm just trying so hard not to be, because I don't want to max out on this medicine too early. I mean, I've been on it for 8 months, so is it really too early? I don't know, but this dose is working for me right now, so that is why I'm on it. I have lost 45 pounds, and that is amazing. I can't lie, this last month has been the slowest month for me in my weight loss thus far. All self-inflicted. I was on vacation, I had a bachelorette party, I went to Olive Garden, you know, had to get the Alfredo with like the, you know, the chicken that I see on TikTok everywhere. So not my strongest month, but I still lost a couple pounds, which is all that matters. Actually, I just literally got off the phone. Like, I recorded this video, got a phone call, stopped it, restarted it, and we were talking about the weight loss part of it. And I feel like something I always emphasize when I'm talking to friends or family on it, or just like making a TikTok, is I feel like we see these TikToks or these videos about semaglutide and this crazy like 100-pound weight loss in 6 months, or 30-pound weight loss in a month and a half, and it's just like so unrealistic and so, I feel like, almost rare to happen with these medications. And I feel like, most importantly, if you're losing like 2 to 3 pounds a month, 5 pounds a month, doing it in a healthy way on the medicine, not only do I feel like, 1, that's healthy, and then 2, it's like easier to maintain that, right? Like, that's a normal amount of healthy weight to be losing naturally monthly. And so I feel like people get so hard on themselves and discouraged on these medicines when they're not seeing like a huge jump in their weight. But 2 to 3 pounds a month, 5 pounds a month, like that's huge, and it adds up. And so I just wanted to emphasize that, because I feel like I hear that a lot. I've heard that probably from 2 people alone this week, which is crazy, because I just feel like you should be proud of yourself if you're on a weight loss journey for losing any weight, if that's 1 pound, if that's half a pound. And I just feel like people, myself included, don't give themselves enough credit. And so that's a little tangent on that. This week was my first week that I injected into my arm ever. So I injected to my stomach mostly. It's my favorite injection point. I do my legs sometimes. I mentioned this in my first video because I rewatched that before this, because I didn't want to like just talk about the same stuff. And I mentioned having minor side effects, which is true, but when I injected my legs, I seem to have the most. Like, I had mentioned this, I had a skin reaction very early on in my semaglutide journey, but only when it was injected into my leg, which was so weird because I don't normally have any sort of skin reaction to things. I'm very like, don't have allergies to things, etc. And so my leg, I've always been, I do it sometimes, but just having that reaction there and not having it anywhere else has kind of been like, why inject it there if I don't have to type of stuff. So I tried my arm this week, kind of scared because I did have such a weird reaction the first time I injected in my leg, even though that was like 5-6 months ago at this point. My arm, in regards to pain injecting, I don't feel like these injections are painful at all. I would say that it's like a little bit of a sting, like I couldn't even rate it 1 on a scale of 10 for the pain, but this one behind my arm was definitely the most painful, if you could even say that. It just was like a little bit more of a sting than what I was used to. I was like, ooh, but that was it. I didn't really notice any differences the first couple days. My injection day is still Sunday. I always do it Sunday because I feel like those days are the most chill days for me. So Sunday, I did that. Monday morning, I just kind of felt like my normal injection, like Monday morning, I don't really know if food sounds good. By lunch, it does sound good, but I didn't notice too much outside of like my Monday morning just injected type of feeling. And then I would say Wednesday, maybe Thursday even, and today's Saturday. So within the last couple days, I was like, I got nauseous, and I definitely noticed that I did not have the appetite that I did earlier in the week. So I feel like the first injection into my arm was good. The only side effect was nausea for like a day and a half, I would say, so nothing terrible. I don't have really any side effects outside of that currently. I feel like every time I make an update though, I'm like, I have no side effects, I think they're gone, and then a side effect comes. I'm sure when I up my dosage again in the next few weeks, I will feel the side effects again. I mentioned this previously in my last video. I didn't really get crazy side effects outside of like I said, that skin reaction when I injected into my leg. I get some headaches, a little bit of nausea. I feel like my stomach would either be very slow in its digestion or hurt, which is very normal. I feel like that's one of the main side effects. And that was kind of that. And then I would say around month 5, when I made my first like introduction to semaglutide video, my GI was just in pain. I was constantly burping. I mentioned this before, but I just hate that word. They're called sulfur burps, which again, I hate talking about it. And I know that this is common because it's funny. My mom is also on the medicine, and she's like a month or 2 behind me in the starting. And so she was telling me like, oh my gosh, I was on a plane and I was having these burps. Like, do I have some sort of stomach flu? Like, what is going on? And I just started dying because I was like, this is what I was trying to explain to you a couple months ago that I was experiencing, and now you're also experiencing it. And I had that side effect for like 2 months, and it was the worst side effect in a sense of it was just annoying and uncomfortable. I just felt like I had air in me that I could just punch out, and it was just not fun. So that actually has subsided within the last, I'd say like 3 weeks, thankfully. But I'm nervous because I have a feeling that's gonna come back when I up my dose. So there's that. Outside of that, like I said, I had nausea for a day. Nothing super crazy, nothing debilitating. I've heard stories of people having side effects that are just terrible. I get comments on TikTok about people's side effects that also just sound terrible. I still have the anti-nausea medicine, Zofran, I think is what it's called. Or I don't know how to say the generic version of it. It's really cheap. I think it's $15, and I still have the same pack I got when I started. And so I definitely recommend, as I did previously, to get that just so you have it. MiniMD, in my last video, I had the B12 in the vial. I no longer have B12 with my vial, so my vial is clear. I've noticed nothing having it in the medicine or not having it in the medicine at all. Like at all. I don't really feel tired on this medicine. I didn't feel energized when I had the B12 in the shot. So I feel like if a lot of the MiniMDs, you can get it extra if you want, but in my personal experience, I have not noticed enough not having it in my medicine to like recommend that to you. But of course it's in there for a reason, so I'm sure there's some people that do get do experience positive stuff from having the B12 in it. In regards, even though this whole thing is probably a little bit triggering if you're not about weight loss and all of that stuff, but trigger warning here because I will be talking about binging. I have not had a single binge still since I started the medication at the very end of January, which is crazy. I would say my food noises have come back maybe like 3 to 5%. Nothing that I've felt the need to act on, but I do notice myself when I first started the medicine, and maybe I was just really excited and had like extreme discipline on top of the silenced food noises, but I just like could go out and just like not, like I said, I had Alfredo. Like I could just mute that in my brain at the beginning of this. But I think that it's good because it's really allowing me to create these habits where it's like, okay, go out with your friends and eat your Alfredo, but like that doesn't ruin your week or your day, or you don't need to binge now, or you can go out and enjoy it, but like eat until you're full. Don't eat the whole thing. So I've noticed a tiny bit of food noises, nothing in comparison to what I normally have or had previously. I've not had a single binge. I can even eat like my biggest trigger food, which is pizza. There's a specific company, well, there's 2 specific companies that are like extra triggering for me, or were, I should say, and I can eat them. And like sometimes when I eat them, I'm like thinking about how I used to binge and what I would normally eat from them versus what I can do now, and I'm so proud of myself. I'm like, how did this same girl less than a year ago like not be able to have this food without it being like this much, and now I can just eat it and not even think of it as a trigger food? And so that's something I'm really proud of myself about, is overcoming that, and I hope to continue to work on that while on the medicine, and also just continue to like heal that portion of my ED without the medicine. So that's really exciting. That is like my biggest win on this. I've had some non-scale victories, one that I talked about on TikTok recently, which is probably the best one that I've had thus far, and that is this ring. This ring has been on my thumb since I was 15 years old. It has so much meaning to me. My neighbor, when I was growing up, had gotten cancer, and my mom got me this ring. It says hope on it. When she was diagnosed, I was probably like 7th grade at the time, and I wore this throughout her whole journey. Unfortunately, she did pass about 11 or 12 years ago, and I wore this. She has one that she like has too, so it's very meaningful because it's still with her. And I would say, like, that was really deep. I would say like a year and a half ago, I started getting a lot of thumb pain, and I couldn't figure out what it was, and I took off the ring just to be like, I was curious, and within a day my thumb pain stopped. So it was very obvious that this ring was no longer fitting me, and it made me really sad because, again, it means so much to me. And so I just, very irresponsible of me, but kept it in my car, just in the coin thing. And I stumbled across it a couple days ago, and I was like, you know what, like, let's try it on, and it fit. And so it's back on me. I have no pain whatsoever. And this, because I feel like there's certain things like my shoes and my jewelry, you don't think about how that's gonna fit you differently throughout this journey, and this fitting me again, it was one of the best feelings I've had thus far. I also went down a size in clothing, which is super exciting. Obviously clothing is subjective and each brand is gonna fit differently, but being able to wear, just, it's like a non-scale victory. Like, it's not like your size of clothes really matters, but it's fun to see something that's not the scale changing. And so emphasize on that, because I feel like that's the most important thing, is these non-scale victories. Are clothes fitting me differently? Am I feeling differently? What have I overcome? And so those are some of the things that I've overcome, and also that have been very exciting to celebrate through the semaglutide journey. So that is kind of it for this update. I feel like when I talk about semaglutide, I kind of just sit down and I ramble, and I just want to talk about it and my journey and where I'm at. So sorry if this was everywhere and I talked really fast. I hope that this helped somebody. I hope this gave somebody insight. And I'm very excited to come back with you guys for another update. I feel like I'm at the point of the journey where, yeah, my updates are kind of consistent. They're kind of repetitive. So I don't know when my next update will be, but I promise to have one. I have my TikTok, like I said, that I update more consistently on, answer questions. I'm happy to answer any questions that I can down below. I am not a doctor. I am not a medical person. I'm just my own girly who's done her research and formed my own opinions on this medicine. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, subscribe, and I will see you so soon for another freaking video. Good. Bye.